All right, are we ready to tackle this one, guys? We're going to be going over the entire Dolce & Gabbana The One lineup, starting with the good old Eau de Toilette and working through up to the most current flanker. The only ones that I don't have in this video are going to be like the Dolce & Gabbana The One Platinum Edition and Collector's Edition. From what I can tell online, they're exactly the same as this, just in a different bottle. But everything else we're going to be going through here, a couple of which are discontinued. Seems like I should have done this a long time ago, but to be honest, I really didn't have the entire lineup up until recently. I bought the rest of them just so I could do this video, because there are a few less desirable ones I just never got around to grabbing. For me, I've always stuck with the Eau de Parfum and more recently Royal Night to fulfill my Dolce & Gabbana The One needs. Everything else I just didn't really have too much interest in. But it appears that these buying guide videos really help you out, and that's the goal. That's the purpose. It's to help you in making a decision if you want to jump into the one line. You know, the one fragrance for you. Will any of these be the one fragrance for you? We're about to find out. Let's get into it. First up, Eau de Toilette. Look at that bottle. That is just a nice looking bottle, isn't it? Nice wooden looking cap. Nice light brown fragrance color. Just nice classy glass bottle. Man, is that gorgeous. Amber, tobacco, and ginger are some of the main notes here. Yeah, have you heard that before? Probably. I'm sure you have. And this, well, not the Eau de Toilette, technically the Eau de Parfum, was one of the first sweeter, heavier, warmer fragrances that I got, and I remember it just shattering my mind. Up until that point, all I had smelled was freshies, and as soon as I smelled this, it kind of opened up my eyes or my nose, and it just made me realize that I had so much more I could discover, and that really made me excited. This DNA just smells great. Obviously, this is where it all started. This is what initially took off. It is, in my opinion, one of the best date night fragrances that you can buy. Performance is not going to be the best here on the Eau de Toilette. Same with the Eau de Parfum, just getting that out of the way right now. On the Eau de Toilette, about 5 hours or so on average of longevity. Projection within the first hour or so, it does have a decent amount of pop to it, but it does settle down quickly after that. You're not going to be looking for good performance if you buy this, okay? Same with the EDP. You're just not. If that's what you're after, don't even do it. Don't buy these if you want performance. Buy these if you want a really sexy, alluring date night fragrance that'll last you a solid few hours to get through a date. That's what you're going to get out of these. Which leads me to the Eau de Parfum. Here it is. That bottle looks great as well. Might even look better. I love that gradient. Love the black cap. They both look classy, but this one really holds a special place in my heart because, like I had mentioned, this was the first sweeter scent that I got, like for real. The Eau de Parfum of Dolce & Gabbana The One was kind of the scent that got me starting to enjoy some warmer date night evening scents. Smelling this smells exactly the same as the Eau de Toilette for the most part. This one's a little bit more rich, but the note breakdown stays the same. So this is a true Eau de Parfum flanker where they kept the original DNA, but just did their attempt at beefing it up and making it stronger. Now, this is still not known for its performance, and again, it gets ragged on all the time for that. For me, on my skin, I would expect to get about 6-7 hours, sometimes a bit more. I find that projection's a little bit lighter on the Eau de Parfum, but instead it hangs in the air more and it leaves a bit more of a trail. Ultimately, I find it to be closer to the skin, making this one here in particular almost even better for a close date night situation. You don't need performance of any kind to wear it on a date, and this seems like something that people can't grasp, but it's true. You don't need that, okay? So don't look for it here. Still though, for me, one of my favorite designer fragrances, one that I will always have, one that I will probably always reach for just for myself, but also because my girlfriend likes it. Just kind of one of those things where it always has a special place in my heart. And still to this day, just a revolutionary, timeless, sexy evening out scent for men. I can't say enough good things about it. Let's branch out a little bit and go with this guy, the One Gray. Grapefruit, vetiver, and cardamom are some of the main notes. So we're kind of essentially taking a step back from the overall warm, sweet, and inviting type of mood that you get from the first two, and we're introducing a bit more of an aromatic freshness, more focus on the vetiver here. It makes it just a bit more work friendly. Now, that's not at all to say that you can't wear Dolce & Gabbana The One, EDT, and EDP to work. You absolutely can. To be real, if they performed better, You could wear them as a signature scent. Again, they don't. That's why I retire them as a date night fragrance. So, you could wear them for everything, but you just don't really typically do that with those. This one here, it's just a bit more versatile all around. It's even more appropriate for a signature scent type of thing, unless the performance is an issue for you as well. So this one is not a beast either, and none of these are really going to be. For me, on my skin, it's kind of on par with the eau de parfum, 6-7 hours, maybe a little bit longer depending on the current conditions of that day. You get the idea. Eau de toilette, actually it's an eau de toilette intense, not that does a whole lot for it, but you get good projection off of it. Find it to be very wearable. If you got a short day at work, if you got a half day at school, if you're just going out running some errands, this will get you through it just fine. And really, for most of you, if you work an 8-hour day, you'll probably make it through most of the day as well. I mean, what more can you want? Not everything has to be 12 plus hours and, filling a football field in terms of projection. Let's dive into this one, Royal Night. Amber, cardamom, and sandalwood are some of the main notes. So this one here, the way I describe it is Dolce & Gabbana the One DNA minus the tobacco, but with increased performance. So this is kind of one of those scenarios where I'm like, hey, I found something that actually performs a lot better than the EDT and the EDP. The only thing is you don't get the tobacco, and of course the tobacco makes Dolce & Gabbana the One. That really kind of sets it apart. But you can still have something pretty close with much better performance, and then people get mad because this doesn't have tobacco, but they're also complaining because this doesn't have performance. I had to make sure I grabbed the right one. This doesn't have performance. This doesn't have tobacco. At this point, you got to take your pick. Which one's it going to be? For me, I like Royal Night in different situations, just kind of as a way to change it up. You get a lot of sandalwood out of this one, so overall it's a bit more creamy and smooth and just less, I don't know, not harsh, but the tobacco in the one definitely gives it some texture, and this is lacking that, and it's just a bit more smooth and creamy all the way through. Still smells fantastic though. I love it, and you can layer them together and get a bit of a performance boost with this one on your skin. And talking about that performance, 9 hours or so on average in terms of longevity, solid projection as well. This one is concentrated as an eau de parfum, so it has a good amount of depth in terms of its delivery. It's relatively rich. It doesn't just pop off your skin like a fresher scent would and kind of dissipate. It kind of hangs in the air a little bit. Solid performance all around, and one of the best performers from the line. All right, this one up next. Dolce & Gabbana the One Eau de Parfum Intense. So with this one, cardamom, cashmere, and leather are some of the main notes. This is where things took a turn. Now, I gotta say this real quick. We're not going in order, okay? If you didn't catch that already, not any sort of order. We got many other things that came before this one. I'm just kind of throwing these in there as I wish. But this is where things took a turn in the line. We had some other stuff, and yeah, they were a bit different. But this one, it's Eau de Parfum Intense. To me, and to a lot of other people, we were kind of expecting to get Eau de Parfum, but intense. A lot of people were banking on the fact that this was finally going to be the fix for the performance of this one, and it is not at all anywhere close to being that. I just about knocked this cap off. This one is all about the cashmere and modern musk and general woods. It's not as rich, it's not nearly as inviting or cozy or warming as the Eau de Toilette and the Eau de Parfum. It's essentially their take on the modern men's new trend with the cashmere, kind of the Dior Homme 2020 type of vibe, right? That's kind of what they're going after here. And those, ironically, I think came out around the same time, pretty close to each other. I will tell you, for me, I'm not the biggest fan. I just can't get down with the note, okay? And that's not me hating. It's the same with Dior Homme 2020. I've come around to it a little bit, and I can recognize it as being a great pickup for a versatile, good performing people pleaser, for sure. Just for me, for my personal taste, I really just don't wear stuff like this. For me, there are much better flankers in the line, and when it comes down to it, if I'm choosing a Dolce & Gabbana the One scent, I want warm and spicy and inviting, and this one doesn't bring it. Next up, we're going with the second newest release. We actually had 2 this year, from what I can remember. This one is Luminous Night. Came out this year, early this year though, early 2021. This was one of their exclusive editions, which at the time of this video is really hard to find. I had to order this one from Harrods, came from overseas, and it's out of stock now, and it has been, I think, ever since I first got it and did that first impressions on it, so I don't know what's going on. Amber, incense, sandalwood, and dates are some of the main notes. So the dates gives it kind of a sugary sweetness. You get a smokiness, you get a cardamom, sandalwood, creamy sandalwood. It smells really, really good, and it kind of sucks because it's hard to get. Now, this is going to be one of those that if it does show up on discounters, one, it's going to be much more expensive. Dolce & Gabbana, the one, generally runs around $50, $55, $60, depending on the flanker and all of that stuff. You're probably going to find this one around $70, $80, maybe more. That's just kind of how the other exclusive editions are, and so I would imagine if this does hit discounters, it's going to be the same way. And along with that, it'll probably be in and out of stock relatively often. It's probably not just going to be consistently in stock like their normal fragrances. There's probably going to be times where it's out of stock for a while, kind of like it has been now since the beginning of the year. So yeah, you know, it sucks. I hate to sit here and tell you that this is really good when you just can't really get it, but unfortunately that's how it is. Performance is also really good. 8-9 hours on my skin, and projection is on par with most everything else. This one is concentrated as an eau de parfum, so similar things going here. All in all, I really like this one. You know, I'm just gonna dock it a few points because most of you guys just can't get it, and that just sucks. Don't worry though, there are other great ones in the line here that we have talked about and are going to talk about. Next up, the brand new, currently as of this video, the newest release, Dolce & Gabbana, the one, Eau de Parfum Intense Gold. Yeah, get a load of that name. I'm not going to say it again. You can rewind the video if you want to hear me say it again, but that's the name of this one. Or just Dolce & Gabbana, the one gold. I think that's what it's listed as on Fragrantica, but I beg to differ, because I see Dolce & Gabbana, the one, for men gold Eau de Parfum Intense. Wow. Now, with a big name like that, you may expect a super classy, rich, amazing fragrance. And you see this vibrant gold and you expect it to smell like a gold bar, smell like it's worth millions, you know, smell like it's just the next big thing. Well, it's not. None of that. Cardamom, patchouli, and amberwood are some of the main notes. It actually leans quite a bit fresh and aromatic with a vetiver heavy kind of focus here. It is not at all what I was expecting, especially given the look of the bottle. When you see gold, you just think something warmer, at least for me. That's just how I am. Maybe I'm wrong, or maybe I'm the only one that thinks that, but I was expecting kind of a almost oud thing going on like they did in Luminous Night, which we'll talk about in a minute. Just something much more heavy and rich, and you just don't get that here. Essentially, it's like this one feeds off of this one, Eau de Parfum Intense. And the reason why I say that is, one, the name, of course, but two, you can see this one is black with gold accenting on the collar and gold on the lettering. And this one is gold with black accenting, actually, just on the lettering down there. No black on the collar, though. So, I don't know, maybe it's far-fetched, maybe not, but the name definitely kind of seems like this one is based off of this one. For the most part, they're quite a bit different. This one's even more fresh and aromatic. For me, still not really my thing either. Again, when it comes down to it, when I think Dolce & Gabbana, the one, I think of warm and spicy date night scent. I don't get that from there. Speaking of Mysterious Night, here it is right here. Love that bottle. Looks fantastic. Rose, amber, oud, and saffron are some of the main notes. Let me do that again. Did you see that? Look at that. This bottle is in pristine condition. No, not anymore. So this one, you may notice, has quite a different note breakdown. Oud, rose, saffron. That's different. And yeah, it is much different. It's more of a Middle Eastern style scent with that oud and rose combination. You get a whole bunch of it here. So this is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. And again, this is quite different than what you're normally going to be used to within the line. This one branches out and is going to be overall a bit more challenging. Even though it is kind of in that direction, it's still designer level. It's not like a niche level oud rose combination. It's still going to be pretty approachable if you have a relatively seasoned nose and you're after a bit more of a challenge from a designer brand. You'll like this. If you're just getting started, not so much. I would stay away from it for the time being. So this one here, like Luminous Night and like Royal Night, is one of their exclusive editions, and on discounters it's going to be more expensive, and stock is weird on this one. Don't remember what I paid for this 100 ml. They had the option, I believe, to get the 150 ml, but it was just a bit more money than I wanted to spend, given I'm probably not going to get a whole lot of use out of it. Performance is really good, so it's a good 9 hours as well. This one is concentrated as an eau de parfum like the rest of the exclusive editions here, and performance all around is pretty good. Definitely above average, and is probably up there with Royal Night, just in terms of how well it does. And I guess Luminous Night is pretty good too. All right, we're down to the last two. We have the One Gentleman. I love the look of this bottle. Straight up, I think it looks fantastic. Now, this is one of the discontinued ones, or at least I believe it is. It's just a little bit trickier to find, but you can still get it, because I did pick this one up recently, so it is still possible if you want it. I love how it looks, though. I mean, that looks nice. Here's the thing. I actually like this one a good amount. It's got pepper, vanilla, lavender are some of the main notes, so you get some sweetness, get a whole bunch of spiciness, you get a nice clean lavender. It actually is really pleasant, and I didn't think it was going to be that great. I didn't think I was going to like it that much, but I do. It shocked me, and almost in kind of a sucky way because it's discontinued. That is really nice. A whole bunch of pepper in that opening. It's pepper, spiciness, lavender even lending to a little bit of a spiciness. The vanilla comes through as it starts to settle down, and it gives a sweet kind of warm texture. This one is really solid. Now I can understand why it didn't sell like what they maybe expected. I get it. It's hard to follow the success of the eau de parfum and the eau de toilette. Basically everything else after that has flopped in comparison to those. Like Dolce & Gabbana, the one gray, really solid, but I'm surprised it's still kicking around. I really am, because while it maybe does well within the community here, it gets a good amount of decent reviews. Outside of the community, I just don't believe that's probably doing that well. I would expect to see Dolce & Gabbana, the one gray, being axed at some point like this, but who knows? I hope not, but this is pretty solid. They discontinued it. The one gray is pretty solid. They might discontinue that one too, just because it's not performing. You never know. This was an eau de toilette. Performance is around kind of the EDP, so it's about, 7-ish hours on average, that sort of thing. Projection is about typical as well. Pushes out enough, but not a room filler, not a skin scent either. It'll get you noticed. Again, really solid stuff. Given that it is kind of discontinued, hard to find, that sort of thing, if you want to pick up a bottle for your collection and enjoy it for yourself, go for it. But, if you're watching this video in the future, who knows if it's going to be able to be purchased or not. I really don't know. Last up, this guy, the One Sport. So this one is discontinued, and that's why I have this 30 ml bottle. I mean, it's goofy looking. I love it though. Looks awesome. Look at the size comparison here. 150 ml Royal Night next to this 30 ml Sport. Why is this discontinued? I can't have any idea, because it smells so great. Yeah, I think I can see why it's discontinued. Watery notes, rosemary, cardamom, some of the main notes. It's boring. I really don't like this that much. Bottle looks cool. In theory, this is a good idea. In execution, not so much. I just don't want a watery Dolce & Gabbana the One. It's like watered down cardamom spice in here. Just doesn't work for me. Performance isn't that great either. It's probably the poorest of the line, even worse than the eau de toilette. Yeah, I just, don't really like this one that much. I just don't see it really being a good addition to the line, and well, apparently they did as well, and it performed as such because you can't really get it anymore in terms of it's not in production. You can go on eBay, or I think I even got this off of Fragrance Net, I think, and pay a kind of overinflated price for it, but I wouldn't do it. So say goodbye to this one. That leads us to the best part of the video. Which ones do I think you should pick up? So let's run through this quickly. Obviously the one eau de parfum. I already have my rant at the beginning of the video. I had this rant in another video I just recorded. I don't know if it's out yet, but you'll see it and you'll hear it when you get to that point. If you watch that video and you watch the point where I'm talking about this, you heard my rant. I'm not going to touch on it again. So for sure, Dolce & Gabbana, the one eau de parfum, if you're after a date night scent, it is definitely worth having in your collection. For me, it just works well. Next up, Royal Night. If you want a stronger performing version of Dolce & Gabbana, the one without tobacco, or you want a smoother, creamier, different take on the one, this is also a great option. And with that, you get better performance. So it's up to you if you want to buy this due to performance or due to having a different smell. I like it for both reasons. It still has a spiciness, but it's much more creamy and almost gourmand. It's weird, but it's really, really good. Royal Night is awesome and a really good limited edition or exclusive edition. And from what I remember, I think this one is in stock some places. I will link everything down below. This one usually is able to be picked up pretty easily. Dolce & Gabbana, the one gray. If you want everyday wear scent from the lineup here, and still kind of have a bit of a spicy, the one DNA in the base, something to kind of remind you of it, this one's nice too. If you can get your hands on Luminous Night, definitely do so. I think it's really solid. You know, this one and exclusive, this one and Royal Night are my two favorite exclusive editions. Great stuff. Mysterious Night is nice, but it's not one that I'm going to get a whole lot of wear out of, and I think a lot of people may not really dig it as much as some of these others. The one Eau de Parfum Intense and the gold variant, for me, just don't work. Maybe they will for you. What else do we got? I think that's about it. Oh, the OG Eau de Toilette. Don't buy it anymore. Really no need to. For nostalgia purposes, go for it. That's awesome. If it's for collection purposes, go for it. That's awesome. If it's for making videos purposes, go for it. That's awesome. That's why I have this. I never had this before. I just bought it literally so I can make videos and feature it. It's really about it. And having it to complete the collection is cool too. But yeah, I wouldn't bother with this one anymore in most circumstances. If you're thinking you're going to save yourself some money and go for the Eau de Toilette, don't skip out on it. Just go for the Eau de Parfum, spend that extra few bucks, and you're going to be glad that you did. All right, there we go. Another long video, 25 minutes before I edit this one down. Whew. This was a big one to tackle, but it had to be done. Hopefully this helps you. Hopefully this helps you make a decision if you want to jump into this line. And if you do want to pick some of these up, they will be linked down below to discounters, so you can do so. At discounters, for the most part, all of these that are in production and not super exclusive are affordable. In that $50 range, mid-range designer pricing. That's really solid for these. If you buy them at retail, you're looking at $80 plus tax and shipping and other fees and all that stuff that they sneak in there. I wouldn't do that. That's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.